Alright, welcome back. You're watching Buy Now, Sell Now. It is time for us to start the query segment. Unfortunately, we seem to be having a bit of a technical issue with the YouTube feed. We are unable to get comments in, and while we try to fix that, I'm going to start taking queries on WhatsApp. If you are on YouTube and you can't send your message in just yet on YouTube, I would encourage you to send us a message on WhatsApp and we'll try and take as many queries as possible. Let me start with a query that we've gotten early in the morning on YouTube. We've got Rajan from Bengaluru who's asking Kunal a specific question. I believe, Kunal, we've spoken about Biocon in the recent past, but he's asking if he can buy at current levels for the next 3 to 6 months.
Suggest just that move on to some better top quality pharma name. I think Sun Pharma, for example, is heading towards a big breakout above this 800 mark. Cipla looks very attractive in terms of risk reward. The stock looks fairly poised for a good up move over the next 3 months approximately. So I think in that sense, I would probably suggest that switch, maybe look at some other better options. The only catch with Biocon is the lack of consistency of trend. The stock making a pattern of lower highs and lower lows. Rally is not sustaining for the stock and it gets sold off in two. So when you're into such a scenario, it becomes very difficult to anticipate that there could be any sort of a short-term revival. So go with the stronger names, like something in the likes of Sun Pharma, Cipla, or maybe even DV Slab for that sense.
All right, this next query is from Rajiv Srivastava. He's saying he's bought about 5,000 shares of Tata BSL at 103 rupees per share. Beg your pardon. He's saying, should I hold or switch over to other metal stock? Saurabh, how does Tata BSL look like fundamentally? Does it make sense for Rajiv to stay put with this holding, given that last quarter, or if I'm sorry if I'm mistaken, either it was last quarter or last quarter, you had Tata BSL actually post strong numbers as well. So fundamentally, makes sense for Rajiv to stay put with this holding?
I think yes. I think metal counters are going for going from a very good time, and I guess the good results would continue to come. All the companies would continue to post good set of numbers, and Tata BSL will be no different. I guess it would be better if he'll not switch and stick to his investment, and he'll get more gains on his investment. My take would be hold.
Okay, we've got RK Ahuja asking about Praj Industries well, there are a number of counters that he's asking about, but Mr. Ahuja, just like we do for everybody else, we're going to stick with one counter per person, and he's asking about Praj Industries in the context of sugar. What would you say about this on the fundamentals? We've just to get a sense of this, Saurabh, would you play Praj as the capacity builder for the ethanol play?
Yes, the market is already playing that scenario. I mean, the ethanol blending is, this time around is working well for the companies like Praj Industry, and this is the story which is market is talking about. I think Praj would continue to be a beneficiary of that, and the company is moving towards to get the maximum advantage of this ethanol blending. My take would be a hold.
Okay. Before I go ahead with the queries, here's a note for all of our viewers. We are live back on YouTube, so you can post your queries on YouTube as well. So let me take the query from Stephen Austin from Saudi Arabia. He's a long-term investor. He's saying he's holding 345 shares of Garware Technical Fibers, which he's purchased at 2,007 rupees since August 2020. He wants to know how are the charts looking for this counter? Is there any scope that this stock may see some correction from these current levels? What's your take on this one, Kunal? Garware Technical Fibers, I believe this counter has seen actually a very sharp rally of late as well. So how does it look?
So, over the last 5 years or over the last decade, you look at it in whichever prospect in terms of time frame, the stock has done exceptionally well. 2010-11, the stock was priced at 2 digits odd, 56 60 rupees odd, and from there it's moved up very well. So I think in that context it has done extremely well on the longer term time scale charts. Now the question is, that whether the stock will go through a corrective phase. It's actually started this correction, almost a month back for itself from 3,600 levels. The stock has corrected back towards 3,100, 3,150, where it's currently trading. So I think the first leg of correction seems to have happened for the stock. I would probably expect a small rally from current levels, say somewhere in the line of 30 to 50, 3,300 odd, for the stock before it tries to consolidate and form a range. What has happened is in the last 5-6 months, the pace of rally for Garware fibers had been extremely sharp and swift, and the stock is now trying to just about go through a mean reversion process. It could probably take another couple of months before the stock finds a reasonable bottom. So I would suggest that if you're looking to buy on dips, wait for corrections enough to try and average the stock further. Closer to 3,000 mark or 2,950 should be a level where you can look to average it out further.
Okay, I do want to apologize to the people who are joining in on YouTube, and if you waited for some time to get your queries in, but like Cheryl said, do post your queries in case you've been waiting now. We've got a question on Burger King, and this one's from Chirag Shah from Mumbai. This one's for you, Saurabh. He's got 2,000 shares at levels of 151, and he's wondering whether to hold on. This is Chirag Shah who's asking about it. He's in the green right now. Would you say that he can hold on for the long term?
This is the space which investors continue to like. I mean, Burger King, the Jubilant Food, and some few listings also got. We saw new IPOs getting good listing from this space also. I think Burger King is doing good. The last quarter numbers were good, and since we are opening up and things are getting back to normal, offices are opening and even schools are opening, I think things will improve for the companies like Burger King. I would say it is better to hold.
This one is coming in from Chaitanya saying that he's bought about ONGC shares at the levels of 119 about 3 months back. He's saying it's now again reached to my buy price after a long consolidation. So should I hold for profits or should I switch to another counter? Kunal, what's your take on ONGC? What should Chaitanya do? Hold on to the stock so that he's able to book profits, or should he look to switch already?
I think you should hold on to your stock over here. So even though ONGC has been a big underperformer when you look at it over the last 5 years, but then there are some traces of signs that the stock is showing. For example, a range pattern breakout, a breakout above its 50-day moving average, bounce off from its 200-day moving averages. So there are a lot of positive signals coming out for ONGC. And since you've waited for so long, I would sense that you can wait for maybe another 3 to 6 months odd. I think if the pattern shapes up very well and the market remains buoyant like what we've seen in the past so many months, then I believe that ONGC stands a case for rallying up to almost 140, 150 over the very near term. So I think the stock stands to gain from current levels. So I would suggest a hold on ONGC.
All right, Kunal, as well as Saurabh, we've got about 12 minutes left on the queries. I do want to point out that we've got a lot of queries. So can we keep the answers a little short today? I'd like to take as many more as possible. I'm going to take this one for you, Saurabh. Seema is asking about opportunities to invest in the textile space in India. Is this a good time, and which counter would you suggest?
I think the company which is doing wonderfully well is Welspun India. So my recommendation would be Welspun India.
Okay, this one is coming from Madhusudan Desai, saying that he has 20 shares of Naveen Fluorine at an average price of 3,580 rupees per share. What would be a good time to re-enter the stock? It is currently trading at around 4,000 rupees. Kunal, what's your take on Naveen Fluorine? When can Madhusudan look to re-enter the counter?
3,500 to 3,600 should be a good level where you can look to enter. This was the previous major swing low with the stock had tested twice in the previous 2 months. So that should be a good range for you to enter, 3,500 to 3,600 range.
Okay, guys, you can actually give slightly long answers. I don't want to curtail it so much. We've got a question coming on CG Power. We've got somebody who's holding a tremendous number of shares, and he's looking for views on the fundamental side. This is Mr. Ghosh from Delhi. Saurabh, what would you suggest somebody can do with this one?
I think it is a turnaround story people are betting upon. You should continue to hold.
All right. All of a sudden, Alex, I'm feeling that we've already entered the rapid fire segment of the show. But nevertheless, this one is from Anuradha. She's saying she's interested to invest either in HEG or Graphite India. Which one is the better one for the longer term? Saurav, what's your take? Graphite India or HEG? Fundamentally, which out of these two counters makes sense for Anuradha to go ahead and invest?
Both companies are equally well. Buy both of these companies.
Saurabh, you can give your rationale as well. There's no reason to not give your rationale. And apologies if I cut you short. Coming to you, Kunal, on question on Infosys, James Joseph from Cochin is asking whether he can buy at the current market price. What would you say?
Wait, I've been enumerating a lot of factors for the IT index, that how there has been less amount of rollovers. The rally for these stocks have extended just about way too much steep. It's prudent enough to try and wait, let maybe in a couple of months, let the stock cool off. I would sense 1500, 1400 levels, on Infosys as a good buying range. Now, whether that happens today, tomorrow, or over the next couple of months, that's going to be a bit dicey. But I sense that a much more better rate in terms of buying the stocks should be at much lower levels. 1500 approximately should be a starting point for you for buying Infosys.
This one is from Manohar. He's asked about two stocks. One is ONGC and IOC. We've already spoken about ONGC, so this one I'll take on IOC. 150 shares of IOC. He's saying that this particular counter saw a very good breakout yesterday. He's saying, what should I do over the longer term and the shorter term? But Saurabh, what's your take on IOC? Should Manohar stay put with this holding in IOC and continue for the longer term, or should he look to switch to something else? What should his strategy be for IOC?
Valuations are on the lower side. Since the crude prices have started marching upward, there is a strong case of the inventory gain. My take would be a hold for next 3 months.
Okay. We've got a question for you, Saurabh, on Kaplan Point, and this is, somebody who's asking, Biju from Mangalore is asking for a fundamental view. Bought at levels of 250. What would you say is the view on the fundamentals? Would you say that he should hold on for the long term?
Fundamentals are okay. I mean, the Kaplan Point is going good. The company is posting good set of numbers. The only thing is worrying me is that small companies from the pharmaceutical sides have become more expensive on the valuation side. So is the case with the Kaplan Point. I think if he's holding it, he can continue to hold, and with every gains, he should cut his position by 15-20% on every 5-10% points.
This one is from Kirti Raj Shetty from Mangalore, and this one is for you, Kunal, saying that she has 500 shares of Repco Home Finance, which was purchased at 321 rupees per share. However, the stock is falling. Should I hold or settle for a loss and move to some other stock altogether? What's your take, Kunal? What should Kirti do for holding in Repco Home Finance?
See, I would sense that you can probably look to hold for some more time. Closer to 320, 330 is where I believe that the stock should bounce back over the very near term. Indicators are a bit oversold, so I would suggest that you can hold on. But then the other part of the question is also very relevant, that whether you can switch to some other formidable names. I've been very bullish on a couple of names from the housing finance pack, and specifically, of course, not the large cap ones like Bajaj Finance, which have just gone through the roof. But I think even the likes of Chola Finance and Canfin Home, these are the two stocks which looks very attractive from a medium term to long term scale. And the stocks have just about gone through a process of correction and then bounced back again over the last couple of days. So both of these stocks could be looked at, and from a more longer term perspective, I believe there should be much stronger gains which could be in line for these kind of stocks.
Okay, speaking about the property space or rather real estate space, Saurabh, and specifically about Godrej Properties, would you suggest that you can get in at the current price for the long term? This is a question from Sri Ramya.
This is looking very interesting to me. You can get in any one of the stock. Godrej Property is a good stock. Otherwise, you can also invest in Brigade or DLF.
Okay, this one is from Soumitra saying that he's holding a significant quantity of Apollo pipes from 300 rupees levels. It has given almost 5x returns in the last 1.5 years is what he's saying, but he would want to know fundamentally how does this counter look for if Soumitra wants to continue with his holding. What's your take, Saurabh, on Apollo pipes? Makes sense for Soumitra to continue to holding, or should he look to book profits and switch to some other counter which makes sense?
I think it makes all the more sense to continue to hold your investment. Just because it has grown 5x doesn't make sense. Doesn't make any sense to get rid of these stocks, because the fundamentals are still intact, and I think the days are getting even better for these kind of companies. So you can continue to hold for to this stock.
Question, Saurabh, this is on Hikal. And we've got Kumar Iyer from Mumbai, who's bought at levels of 386, which is a great entry price, I think, for Hikal. Would you suggest that he can hold on for the next 4 to 5 years, though, or 3 to 4 years?
Seen good amount of re-rating. The company is putting up a good show. I think he has got it a good price, considering if the investment horizon is such a long period. I would recommend him to hold on to Hikal.
All right, this query is actually coming in from Shushrit saying that he wants to enter Petronet LNG or Amara Raja batteries, which is a better stock, and which one or rather when will be the right time to enter them? What's your take coming on this, Kunal? Petronet LNG or Amara Raja, which one is a better counter for Shushrit to go ahead and enter?
Both the stocks have been beaten down, so maybe the entering point for the trade could be good at current levels. But you have to understand the behavior of stocks when you're looking to try and trade and time these stocks. You can't buy all stocks which are trading at their lows, because some of the stocks are very, very stagnant and they have an inherent passive nature in terms of price movement. Petronet actually is one of the stock which falls in that category. The stock is is in the last I think 2 years as well has gone through very marginal kind of ranges. No major signs of uptrend coming out in Petronet LNG. So maybe the risk reward is good, but trending wise, I don't sense a major breakout coming out for Petronet LNG in the near future. Amara Raja battery, on the other hand, looks very attractive because the stock has shown in the previous 12-15 months strong price action. So I think in that sense, Amara Raja could be a much better bet compared to Petronet LNG.
Okay, somebody's pointing out on WhatsApp that they've been asking the same question for 4 days. Unfortunately, I do not have your name. This one's for you though, Saurabh. The viewers are pointing to the possibility of a sector rotation taking place from pharma into other sectors, and they've got Aurobindo Pharma as well as Cadila Healthcare, 200 shares of each, and wondering whether to book some profits and move to the likes of Ambuja or Orient. I would actually add Ultratech to that list also. Would you suggest that's a good move to make?
Speaking, if my recommendation would be the IT sector, real estate sector, capital goods, infrastructure. The real estate, you can add DLF Brigade, you can probably add cement too also. In the capital goods side, I think the cycle is turning well for the companies like Larsen Toubro, and IT, I think one should hold some good names like HCL or maybe Tech Mahindra for next 3 to 5 years.
All right, it's time now for the rapid fire, and Kunal and Saurabh, I believe you all both are familiar with this pattern where you need to give a buy, sell, hold, avoid, and a short line of your rationale for the stock. And first up, this one is from Alok. He's saying Kalyan Jewelers, big breakout is seen, right time to enter this stock. What's your take, Saurabh?
Avoid.
Okay, Tata BSL, this one's for you as well, Saurabh. 5,000 shares bought at levels of 103. Would you hold or would you switch to another metal stock? This is from Rajiv.
I think you can hold on to this stock.
Okay, this one is from RJ saying that he has Morpen Labs, which he's purchased at 67 rupees per share. He wants to know what should he do now, Kunal?
I think you can continue to hold. The stock has come back to a support territory, and if you bought assuming at higher levels, you can look to even average for them.
Kunal, back to you. Aarti Drugs is the counter. We've got Rosa, who's bought as many as 680 shares at an average price of 672. Points out that the recent crash is hurting the holding. Would you average at this price or would you hold on?
Well, we'll definitely look to average at current levels. The stock is back towards its multi-month support and marginally below it. So good level to average it out further.
This one is from Shanmuga Sundaram. He's bought 60 shares of Rallis India at 320 rupees per share. He's saying, can he hold on to this for the next 6 months? What's your take coming in, Saurabh?
Better to switch over to Chambal Fertilizer.
Okay. Kunal, Z Entertainment is the counter. 80 shares bought at levels of 200. Praveen wants to know the short-term outlook.
Well, extremely grim. I would just suggest to avoid the stock or exit the stock at current levels and look to switch to some other predominant large cap name.
Lasya is saying that Tata Motors, she's bought about at 308 rupees per share, wants to know whether she should book profit or look at some other stocks altogether. What's your take, Saurabh?
Better to book profit and switch to auto ancillary companies like GNA Excels.
Okay, very quickly, IFB Industries, this one's for you. Saurabh, do you have a view and would you suggest a fresh entry?
Yes, I would suggest a fresh entry, and I think when the festival season will approach, the investor will get benefit.
Alright, with that we come to an end of the rapid fire. Thank you so much, Kunal, as well as Saurabh, for joining us on the show. Also, a big, very quick with all the queries. We managed to take quite a lot of queries despite having the technical glitch at the start. So thank you, Saurabh, as well as Kunal, for joining us on the show. And on that note, we'll take a break on this edition of Buy Now, Sell Now. Stay tuned, lots more on the other side, so don't go anywhere.
Powered by Century Laminates Lucida, चाहे जो हो जाए किचन चमकता जाए. In association with New is Nuvo Nirman, New is Nuvoco.
आग को फैलने से रोकना मुश्किल है, पर नामुमकिन नहीं. अब फायरवॉल टेक्नोलॉजी के साथ सेंचुरी प्लाई आग से बचाए.